Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of The Last Black Man in San Francisco. This is an indie that I have been hearing buzz about ever since its debut in Sundance Film Festival. I've been hearing about this movie, but I decided to just forego the trailers, forego the material, and just walk into the film blind, see what we're gonna get. What I got was the story of Jimmy living in San Francisco, trying to reobtain a house that his grandfather built in the 40s. And ultimately, personally, I found this to be quite an affecting story that by the end really hit it home for me. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives. Well, I just need to talk about the film at large to get the biggest positive out of the way. So I guess Jimmy Fails would be the biggest positive because he is acting and directing in this film. And this film is just a big atmosphere that encompasses this feeling of otherness in such a unique way, but such an effective way. The story is very simple. What I said in that synopsis at the beginning of this review is the synopsis. I mean, there is not much complexity to the story when you just look at the bare bones of it, but it's all the subtext and all the layering, all of that atmosphere I spoke of that really add the meat to the bones. What I love about this movie is not that we're dealing with just being the other or being an outsider. It's about being the other in the only place you've ever known as home. Feeling like an outsider in the place you were born, grew up, and lived in. Your entire life has been about San Francisco in this case, yet you are an outcast there. You're not welcome. And living there can seem near impossible. So it's really interesting to explore just the idea of a place so familiar and a place that you yourself love so much, but yet it's a foreign place. Yet it's not that place that's so familiar. It was very interesting, and I think it was handled beautifully. And it's handled in many different ways, including with the best friend in the film, who is played expertly by Jonathan Majors. He is so good, like the scene stealer for me in this movie. But he clearly has some sort of behavioral disorder, some sort of social disorder. And seeing him with his grandfather, feeling like home there, but as soon as he steps into the neighborhood with these kids he's grown up with, these people he sees every single day who are in the same predicament as he is, basically, he's such an outsider, even amongst his own community. And it happens a lot. It's kind of twisted love letter to San Francisco as a city. And Jimmy Fails really balances that love for the city of San Francisco with also a bit of anger, a bit of bitterness when it comes to speaking on the city itself and how it's changed and how it's evolved and how that has pushed many of the people who have called it home out. And it was really well done. I do think Jimmy Fails was really strong in this role as well. He gets to really show off some acting chops as well as his directing chops. I already mentioned Jonathan Majors is amazing. This is one of the best acting performances I've seen so far in 2019. There's this play moment about 3/4 of the way through the film that was pretty breathtaking, a very impactful moment. We have like Ben Whitrock, Mike Epps, Danny Glover. They all have really small roles, but are effective in the roles they need to be in. But I also need to highlight the editing, and in particular, the sound mixing of this film is fantastic. Oh my gosh, the use of music in particular in this movie was amazing. Where it enters, how it swells, how it cuts out, what it's playing over, all of that on top of this really hauntingly beautiful score. Music is just utilized perfect in the film. So while simple, it definitely left me with kind of a melancholy feel to it and definitely had me thinking all the way home from seeing it in the theater. So what didn't work quite so well when it comes to The Last Black Man in San Francisco? Well, it does drag just a bit through the middle of the film. Our mission is so singular and focused when it comes down to the actual story of the movie that it can get a little bit repetitive feeling, and you kind of are just like, okay, we could cut a little bit of this out and I don't think we would lose the atmosphere. We wouldn't lose anything really in here. I also think it has too many endings. I think there's about like 3 or 4 endings for this film where you're just like, that was it? No, okay, we're continuing on. So there were just too many end shots, particularly at the end of the movie, that you're just like, oh my gosh, I grabbed my coat about 4 times already. But overall, this is a surreal, almost fantastical film that really hits home in a powerful way. You have to be into kind of independent film, I'd say. Otherwise, this might be a little bit too surreal and wacky for you. It might be a little bit too slow for you, honestly. But if you have any interest in seeing The Last Black Man in San Francisco, I definitely recommend it at a full price. I think it will really leave you feeling affected and thinking long after you've watched it. And honestly, if you like weightier films that mix together drama and comedy well, I would also seek this one out and give it a chance. I think there's a lot to gain out of watching a film like this. And it tackles a subset of a subject we see done often enough when talking about the other or outcasts, but a subject that really is never talked about. And I've never seen explored this well in film. I don't think ever. So, that is my review of The Last Black Man in San Francisco. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see The Last Black Man in San Francisco? Or have you already seen it? Or have you even heard of it? Let me know if you've heard of it, if you've seen it. What are your thoughts in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!